Welcome to episode 8 of Let's Play Civilization 3, the Colonization map. Now I've decided to double time this video so that things move more smoothly along. Hope you don't mind. I made an embassy with the Germans to see whether or not they were still at war with the Russians. And it turns out they are not. They made peace some time ago, and Sevastopol, I believe is pronounced, is now permanently part of German territory, which, remember, we have to keep our eyes on those Germans to make sure they don't get too large, because they're the ones most likely to run away with the game if they grow to be too large. Alright, so moving along here, we have built the worker, and he's going to build a road directly to the iron. That will enable us to get pikemen, although it won't be long before the pikemen themselves are obsolete because we're getting near to the age of riflemen. But still, iron is good for any number of things all the way up until the modern ages, so it's pretty important that we keep that supply of iron steady. Alright, now I'm going to take one caravel and use it. Holy crap, did you just see that? That barbarian completely destroyed me. That's one other thing I might have not mentioned about this scenario. The barbarians have been set to a higher difficulty. Usually there's a player advantage against barbarians, but I got rid of that for this scenario to make it more difficult to expand your empire. The barbarians are now as strong as regular soldiers. So, watch out. They're a serious threat now. Well, looks like we'll have to replace him. In the meantime, I want to trade world maps with the Chinese, since they seem to know a bit. It turns out they do have a city there already. And I'm just going to bring my caravel around to look for other, let's see if there's any goodies. Put more of these guys on the caravel. Looking forward to when I can get galleons, because then I can put 2 settlers and 2 defensive units on one. I want to settle more down that coast because it seems like there is good land for expansion there. Alright, build a worker there. It's good to start that. Looks like the French are the first ones to sail around the world. They've built Magellan's Voyage. Well, that's good for them, I suppose. I don't really need it. So, more settlers are being produced at all times. Yes, like I might have already stated, the idea is to get to a point where the colonies can start building settlers to form new colonies. Look at that. Barbarian galleys. Tried to attack the Chinese, but they failed. Alright. Might as well build a barracks there. I'm going to bring him up here to try to get away from those galleys and see what else I can see in that area. Alright, get on the boat. And I want them to settle there because of that source of dyes. Yes. Apart from simply gaining territory, which is of course very important, it's also very important to set your colonies in places where there are resources. So you can see the Chinese have already got one city on that island. I'm not sure if there's anything there or not. Well, the Romans won a world map, but they have absolutely nothing to give me for it, so we're not going to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, in half a second we transition from republic to democracy. Yay for religious civs. Yep, but one other thing I probably didn't mention is that this scenario, since you start in the Middle Ages, you start as a republic, not a despotism. But I transitioned to democracy because it tends to work the best in this game, except of course for prolonged wars. Alright. So right now, I'm just zipping through, negotiating speedily with all these other countries, seeing if they have anything I can trade. But I pretty quickly find out that they're either much more advanced than me or much further behind than me. There's basically 2 classes of nations when it comes to technology at this point. So there's not much I can do. I can just research at my own rate. Alright, I'm going to set some people up on that little hill there. Yes, I want to... It's always good to bring horsemen or another horse-based unit for exploration because they can move 2 squares in 1 turn and therefore are much more useful for exploration than a unit that can only move 1 space per turn. Alright, send him back. Man, those galleys don't know when to quit. Well, I guess my guy is just gonna have to run until he can get away. Alright, get on the boat. Man, those barbarian galleys aren't gonna quit, and there's no way my guys can outrun them, so we'll just keep going around and around. Alright, you? I'm debating where to send this guy, but I'm not sure I want to risk sending him there just yet because of all the barbarian galleys in the area, so I'll send him over here to form a colony near that inland lake. It's always good to form cities next to lakes. Well, he's already arrived there, so wonder how fast things move when you're double timing. Now I want you to tell me whether you like this double time for episodes like this where there isn't really that much going on. If you like it, if you think it moves things along speedily, or if you think it's just too jolty, or you don't get time to absorb everything, I want to hear your opinions about it. So anyway, let all these guys off the boat. I'm going to have them settle a little inland. Alright, let's get that barbarian. Ah, not again. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, those barbarians are tough, and you can't take them for granted. 2 bowmen destroyed by those barbarians. Alright, a new city formed there. I guess we'll just have the normal ritual for building a worker, then a harbor, then everything else. Meanwhile, we have the old world cities continue on in their rotation, and the galleys continue pressing on. Yeah, we're not gonna make much progress against those guys, I'm afraid. We're gonna have to face them eventually. Alright. I can keep running. Alright. Come on over there. Wow, there's lots of barbarians there. Hopefully I can form the city before the barbarians attack and kill them. Alright, we have the road built. Now all we have to do is wait for the harbor to be done, and our empire will have iron. Therefore we can build knights. Although we're already getting to the age where knights are obsolete, we're going to want to have cavalry. However, we need saltpeter for that. So one of our next objectives is going to be finding a source of saltpeter and forming a colony wherever that is. Alright, you guys hang out until there's a boat. The Ottomans want to trade, but I don't want to give them anything, so much for that trade. Alright. Yeah, things are moving along quite smoothly for these new colonies, despite the barbarian raids. Yeah, we're going to have to send a lot more offensive troops down to the new continent to do battle with these barbarians. Alright, well at least we settled our new city there. And eventually the source of iron will get hooked up, but right now the barbarians are just causing too much trouble. Alright, there goes those Chinese. Not sure where they're going, but we really got to work to make sure they don't get too many of the prime spots. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that just about wraps it up for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time for episode 9. So long.